Good morning, my loves. How you doing? Deanna here from Deanna.org. And today I want to talk to you about an energy that has been coming more and more into my awareness, and then as a result of that into the collective consciousness as a ripple effect of that. So I'm being guided really strongly to share this message with you. Because there's a direct correlation between healing this aspect of divine love with that Christ consciousness, 5D unity consciousness energy that is trying to come in and embody itself within the crystalline 5D new earth matrix. It's really important that we understand this, and this is a big part of the twin soul mission, or twin flame. In my last video, where did I do this video? I can't remember whether I did this on Facebook or whether I did this on here, but I talked about how I don't actually know who coined the phrase twin flame, because twin soul, the essence of that mission, is more accurate, actually. So I tend to want to call it twin soul just for the purposes of referencing. However, collectively, people still talk about twin flame very much so. So I'll probably do both or whatever. I'll just see how I feel. I just wanted to note that to you so that you're aware of it. Okay. I meant to actually do this live yesterday, but yesterday I was called inward. I was called to have a day of silence, and I was called to be more in the hermit mode. And I feel that the reason for this is because this festive season had been so busy and full of energy. On top of that, we've had let me try that again. When I say full of energy, what I'm actually meaning is in my world, I've had a lot of people around me. It's been really busy, which has been lovely, but it just means that there's a lot of energetic influence within my space, and also through me collectively as I as part of my mission is to be the conduit and just kind of transmute energy naturally from the collective. So instead of having talking about this yesterday, I wrote notes. So there's like I guess there's quite a lot to say. So I will begin and attempt to have a live around 20 to 30 minutes so that I can, so that it doesn't go for too long without it being forced or anything. The energy over the last 10 days has been so challenging and so 3D heavy. That my body and even my mind feels quite tired. So I'm taking it easy, but I'm also inspired to share what I'm guided to. So here we go. The clarity that I've received, hang on, let me just move my camera and see if that's better. Yeah, it's a little bit better, more in the center. Okay. So the clarity that I received with regards to this particular aspect of the collective unconscious came from being connected within and connected to the ascension and purification, tempering process of the masculine energy. And the reason why is because the masculine energy, for the most part, lives more in the head. This process of connecting the head with the heart is making the masculine consciousness aware that they need to deal with all things heart-centered. And part of all things being heart-centered and the heart chakra opening is dealing with those feelings of love, unconditional love, divine love. So as this process has been unfolding within the masculine energy and the masculine consciousness, so you could also say, or I also say, that this is the journey of the masculine energy within the masculine expression, but also, of course, within me, because an aspect of me holds this masculine energy. I come to awareness of what is being or needing to come into my awareness from the unconscious mind. And so this energy of unrequited love kept coming up. And of course, when things keep coming up into your awareness, then the emphasis is on stillness, so you can observe what comes, what unravels, what there is to learn, what information is coming through, what wants to be acknowledged in that moment. Yeah. And so a lot of you know, some of you may not know, that I was born and raised actually in Eastern Europe. I wasn't born in Australia. I'm not of Australian birth, I guess, but I've been here for a really long time. But here's the thing, the terminology unrequited love, first of all, never sat really well with me. Secondly, I didn't quite understand what the hell that meant. So this one day, as this awareness persisted, it was starting to piss me off because I didn't want to have to deal with it because I didn't understand it. And so I knew that if I were to connect with this, I would really need to do some work, as in energetic work, inner work, really put some energy, time, space into this. And so the first thing that I did is I connected with the energy of the terminology unrequited love. And immediately, it almost felt like a subheading, yeah? What I heard was forbidden love. And then I went, that makes sense, right? Because in my twin soul experience, both aspects of the soul, as in me as the feminine expression of the soul and my counterpart as the masculine expression of the soul, we have both had a hard, challenging, difficult time integrating self-worth around this love. There's a sense of disbelief that this can even happen, and out of fear, there is a rejection of this divine love because there's fear that it won't work out. We have actually had that actual conversation. I can't, and the conversation went along the lines of, I can't allow myself completely surrender to this because it's all consuming, and what if it doesn't work out? I will literally die. I don't think that I can survive this not working out. So in order to protect myself, I shut down and push it away. Yeah? So those were the memories and my experiences that came up as a result of that subheading around forbidden love. So I started to understand a little bit more what Spirit was trying to bring my attention to. Forbidden love, fear around loving so deeply, fear around abandonment, fear, like rejection, the push away, the I'm just trying to unreal, the label that often divine love, in my experience, is put under as far as the masculine energy was concerned, is that it's unreal, as in the moments that it inspires are so beautiful, but they're unreal and don't belong in the real world. And so therefore that's not where we put the effort. Yeah. And so as all of this stuff is happening within me and I'm starting to understand and gain more clarity around what's happening energetically between my unconscious and the gates that flooded open for me to remember to connect with all timelines that hold this energy of forbidden, unrequited, unreal love. As far as my mind was concerned, as far as this physical life is concerned, immediately after that, what was coming forth, which I believe is something that was kind of sitting really deeply within my unconscious, was the words I heard was forbidden fruit, which then took me to a memory or a reality that the only way that it can be described is the Garden of Eden. So we are talking thousands and thousands and thousands of memories, lifetimes, timelines ago. There is this deep, 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 deep memory, an energy frequency that is within my unconscious that surfaced, that took me to the Garden of Eden, and of course the story of Adam and Eve. Now, to give you context, for those of you that don't know, that haven't heard me speak before about this sort of stuff, again, I was born in Eastern Europe, in former Yugoslavia back in the 70s and 80s. It's not communist, but it was a socialist country with many, with communism being at the forefront of its structure. So therefore, not religious. Therefore, I grew up with having no spiritual essence as far as religion is concerned. I have never read the Bible. The only stories I know are either those that have been discussed in the public domain all my knowledge comes directly from source. Yeah, so directly from either spirit or an essence that's represented energetically that I can read and comes to me through pictures, etc., etc. So I intuit and perceive the stories or the energy in a certain way. But I guess what I'm saying to you is that I'm not influenced naturally by religious dogma, because it just was not my reality in this life. Yeah. So I go to Adam and Eve, and I go to forbidden fruit, or this timeline comes into my consciousness, or the energy of the timeline, and I immediately know that the pain and the fear that we still carry today at a cellular level comes from the rejection, the mistake, the collective fuck up. Sorry, the yeah, not the collective fuck up. That was the ramification of, but the mistake made in the Garden of Eden to choose or to touch forbidden fruit, and then being thrown out of the Garden of Eden. So it was like Adam and Eve. Oh, sorry. Adam and Eve were the universe's, God's way of incarnating the two aspects of the soul, the feminine and the masculine, to keep each other company, to experience divine love, which is the highest frequency of the universe, but in matter, in the physical body. And when that went so horribly wrong, and we were thrown out of the Garden of Eden, there is this deep pain that was born, pain of being separated from source, from essence, from divine love, fear that was born, that speaks of divine love is something to be afraid of, because there is judgment and persecution. It is such love that you can get, that you can invite darkness, the opposite of love, into your world as a direct result of this love. The yearning to go back home, the yearning towards each other, but knowing that this yearning comes from deep pain of separation. Yeah. That the ultimate gift is that gift of divine love, and our yearning to be back in the Garden of Eden, connected with that source energy and all of the abundance that that garden offers. The garden, of course, being metaphorical for, our being, our essence within us. But the journey to that point requires a lot of work, a lot of sacrifice, having to face a lot of fear. So there's this constant pain associated with divine love, fear of being persecuted, judged, of making a mistake, of not being worthy, of all of those sorts of things, right? So this was really interesting for me, to connect forbidden, unrequited love and what we play out even today as a direct result of this timeline, this ancient timeline from the beginning of time, and that at a cellular level we still carry this with us. And please don't mistake this with, what is it? There's a term that's coming to me that I'm probably going to get wrong, but I want to say the Christian or the Catholic guilt or something. So there's apparently an actual thing where people carry guilt around as a result of, you know, the cross and Yeshua being seen to sacrifice himself for our sins, etc., whatever. I don't even know where this is coming from, but on some level I'm familiar with this, so I'm just letting it come out. Okay, moving on. Let's now very quickly talk about what and how does this reflect in our physical reality when it comes to divine love, or those of us that are here on a mission to bring in and anchor and embody divine love. What does this journey to divine love actually look like when everything kind of comes up to be dealt with? So I wrote a list of just some of the things that came to me immediately. So when we experience this divine love, when we connect with our essence and our counterpart, there is like this chemical and energetic explosion and an ignition of the Kundalini energy that happens that literally, for me, it felt like all of my chakras, all of me came alive at the same time in the same moment. And I actually blocked out for a second because there was this white light that exploded within me where I just totally lost consciousness of anything around me. I'm actually even surprised that I managed to stay on my feet. It was so powerful. So because we are not used to this really high frequency connection, there is an overwhelm that can happen within us, an emotional overwhelm, which is beautiful on one hand, but because it's new and we don't have the strategies and the tools to balance it out, the only thing that can balance out this extreme feeling of love and an influx and a surge of energy is the ego, because the ego is actually a primal survival aspect of us that then comes in, and it's like, you know, a wet cloth. It kind of slaps you around on the face, and the next thing you know, you go from 1 second being overwhelmed with this energy to then, fuck no, I'm not having this one, thank you very much, off I go. So consequently, what's often termed as a runner chaser kind of energy and dynamic can happen between the aspects, right? Disbelief is another one, like I already mentioned a couple of times. Disbelief that this is something that is actually real enough to be able to be embodied in the physical. Because we're already stuffed up once monumentally, so who are we really to make this work? That's why there is a collective working on this. That's why there's the 144,000 twins, yeah, reincarnated at this time, so that it's not just the two, Adam and Eve. There is more than two, and we are all on this mission to transmute and transcend the original beginning of time, monumental being chucked out of, you know, the Garden of Eden energy timeline. So then, and I've done this, and I'm every twin I know does this. The denial, the hiding, the secrecy, and the pretending. Denial and down that this actually exists and that this is actually happening to you. Yeah. Then the avoidance of having to deal with it, because if you have to deal with it, you have to acknowledge it. Then there is heart pull to do something about it. Yeah. So it's much easier to keep it secret, to pretend that it's not real, to cover it up with distractions, all of that sort of stuff, and pretend that it's not what it actually is. That really deep, deep, deep sense of unworthiness of this divine love, especially since a lot of the twins that are reincarnated at this time have chosen to be born into families that are emotionally quite dysfunctional and unavailable. So the journey to this to an empowered and open heart-centered existence is one that requires a lot of focus, and it's ongoing, and there really isn't any choice but to be constant with this work, inner work. And then, of course, the distractions that cover up the sense of unworthiness around this divine love are really quite creative. So we can use our human obligations as excuses why not to be completely present with this divine love. Mortgages, jobs, soulmate partnerships, families, distance, children. That one really bugs me. I've done it. That one really, that one's still one of those things that I have done that kind of goes, does that to my heart, where we use children as an excuse. Why not to work towards divine love? Keeping up with the Joneses, yeah. Keeping up appearances is kind of what I want to say. Addictions, all sorts of addictions, including addictions to drama, with friends, family, other partnerships, relationships. Duty. Yeah, it just, distractions and cover-ups come in all sorts of, or present themselves in all sorts of different forms. We are really quite creative when it comes to how to sabotage the journey back to our highest potential, the journey to our essence, the journey to divine love, the journey to embodying divine love, divine unconditional love, so that we can raise the collective energy and be the anchors for that unity consciousness. And we also miss the point. So the other thing is, in terms of distraction, is that the next point, of course, that I wrote on my little piece of paper is this one way that we avoid actually dealing with the embodiment of this mission, this aspect of the mission, the transmutation of this energy, is by obsessing with the other, the person outside of us, and projecting all of our fears, anger, emotion, frustration onto the person outside of us, onto the other expression, as if it's up to them to fix how we feel inside. If you are watching this and you are drawn to this video, you are already on your way to this learning. So therefore, you understand that what I am saying right here, right now, is utterly untrue, regardless of your journey, because the answer to everything is to go within. Yeah. So in this journey, we heal our emotional body. We heal our emotional body so that our heart chakra can open. Once the heart chakra is functioning and it has an energetic, a light sound frequency relationship with the other aspects that is harmonious, that is balanced, then and only then can the higher heart and the higher mind come in as a conscious awareness and open up for you. It is through your higher heart and your higher mind that your highest aspect comes in full alignment with who you are at essence point. And it is when this comes, right, online, that it can invite the counterpart energy to begin to come into alignment, at which point there is a tempering, a unity, a merging process that actually is triggered. And it is only then that there is a possibility of physical union. Please understand that it's not physical union first. And then everything gets sorted out. The nature of this partnership, of this mission, is to bring in the essence so that that essence can have this divine loving experience in the physical. You have to bring forth your essence first, and that journey takes a little bit of time. And then of course there's the counterparts journey, etc., etc. Anyway, we're well on the way. It's all good, but it is about understanding that your emotional body plays a critical part in this journey. And so as you journey this story and your mission, you develop emotional intelligence. I will do a separate video about emotional intelligence because it's really important. You actually can't YouTube and tarot card reader your way into emotional intelligence. Let me repeat that. You cannot YouTube, social media, tarot card reader your way to emotional intelligence and into a twin flame union. Period. I hope you are hearing me, because when there is an ignition of something and when there's something triggered within you, say for example you are listening to this and you're being really triggered about what I'm saying to you right now. The phenomenon that I observe right now is that most commonly a person that is triggered by what I am saying, for example, right now with regards to twin flames, twin souls, would then go to another reader's room or look at another, look to find another reader, another person on social media to validate their insecurities in some way. Find another reader, find another person that will resonate with what they are saying. As opposed to, if you are triggered, write down what triggers you and then choose self-mastery and emotional intelligence. And what does that mean? That means that you find a quiet space and you sit down and you allow that trigger to talk to you, to tell you why it's there. What is that? What kind of a relationship you have to this trigger? Why are you having this experience? What is that supposed to teach you? You are strengthening your relationship within yourself and you're gaining wisdom directly from your essence within you. Not from a tarot reader somewhere, God knows where. There might be a fantastic tarot reader, but they are all just tools. Just like me, even what I'm saying to you. These are just tools. This is the energy that has come in that I'm bringing to your awareness, right? So that when it comes up for you that you have disbelief around divine love and your counterpart, when you get angry that they are doing this and that and third, when you're pointing fingers, then you have the intelligence to stop, use your divine essence, whether it's feminine, use your divine feminine essence actually to be in stillness, to call in the hermit space around you, and then sit with whatever it is that's going on for you. However it is that you are projecting, judging your counterpart, or whatever's being triggered for you, to sit and have a conversation with that trigger, with that aspect. And if you are not sure how to do that, then reach out to people like me, and there's more than one out there, really good ones, that you have confidence in their integrity, their soul integrity, and we can help guide you back to yourself. Not to give you the answers, but to just walk alongside of you. Use compassion, those highest attributes of the heart chakra, of your divine self, such as compassion, grace, love, unconditional love, to journey with you and help you as you gain your clarity, to hold space for you in case you fall, to make it okay to not have all of the answers all the time. Yeah. So what does a process like this look like? I want to make an offering and invite you to have a conversation with me that is a conversation that is more like a therapeutic session as opposed to a reading. We're not going to do a reading, but I invite you to come along and have a session with me. And we're going to do the session live, probably in my Facebook group. You don't have to show your face. We can do, you can just call in. I need you to be able and willing to share your story, to ask questions, to be vulnerable and authentic. And through having this conversation, we will hold space work together, collaborate together, hold space for others to come in to this energy of healing, respect, self-love, divine love, and disclosure, integrity together. We will create this space so that others in the community can do this. This is really important, and I will do this for free. How I need you to contribute is to be willing to share your story authentically, publicly, so that we can do this live. If you're interested, please write to me. There are, several ways that you can contact me, and we can have a discussion about this and then organize a time. I'm happy to maybe do this with 1 or 2 people, so the sooner you get in, the better. Let's see how we go with this. All right, I think I'm going to finish there. Quick summary. We need to heal this unconscious pain and fear we carry within us deeply, deeply, deeply in the unconscious of the collective around forbidden, unrequited love, which is in essence divine love. It stems back to the beginning of time, to creation itself. This needs to be healed, because if we can't get past this, if we can't transmute this, it's going to be really challenging and really difficult for this energy of unconditional love to come in and be embodied in the collective consciousness. And we need to be able to do this in order to really anchor 5D crystalline new earth, the new paradigm. All of this will happen, and we are already doing this in many ways. So this reality is already here. But for it to be a conscious co-creation, for this to manifest at a faster pace, if you will, we all need to come on board and help heal this. Dissolve that energy of fear around worthiness of divine love. And when I say divine love, I'm also talking about self-love, of course, because that's where it starts. That's everything. If you can't love yourself unconditionally, then how the hell are you going to love anybody else unconditionally, seriously? That doesn't mean that anything goes. It just means that you can hold the highest perspective for someone, including yourself. And in fact, not just hold that vision, but really have that understanding that that is a thing, yeah? The high perspective. Become conscious about all the different ways that forbidden, unrequited love, fear and pain around that energy that's generated as a direct result of that energy is behavior of overwhelm, disbelief. We talked about all of this. Run, chase, manipulate, control dynamics, denial, hiding, secrecy, cover-ups, pretending, unworthiness, distractions, karmic relationships, work, obligation, duty, neediness, obsessive behavior, obsession, avoidance, and projection is in putting your shit into somebody else's court, and the importance of emotional intelligence. Okay, I'm going to love you so much. Have a fabulous day. We'll talk more about emotional intelligence. Sorry. What was I going to say? Yeah, I'm going to talk a little bit more about emotional intelligence shortly. In the meantime, if you would like to collaborate with me and co-create an example of a therapeutic session with me in my beautiful Facebook community live, please write to me and we'll sort it out. Okay, thanks, my loves. Bye. Okay.